what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh no, not this guy again. Well, you're damn right this guy again, because it's Wednesday and there's more fights this weekend than just Bellator 222. Now, I know you're also thinking there's a sign behind me that says UFC, which means we must be talking about UFC fights. That is correct, but I also do pre-fight analysis for Bellator. Bellator 222 is also this weekend, and if you just hit the link above, you'll be able to see it as soon as we're done with this. Just wait, finish till you're watching this, and then you can go on and watch the Bellator fight pre-fight analysis if you haven't already seen it, which was released yesterday. Yes, that's correct. We're first gonna get started with this UFC card, obviously being free, so that's great, save your damn dollars, but it's promised to be an exciting fight with two, in my opinion, number one or at least number two contender fights. Now we're gonna start off very quick with a bantamweight clash between two sluggers. John, the Wild Man Lineker, that's not his nickname, but he is an absolute wild crazy man when that door shuts, and he is going up against another fellow brawler in Rob Font. Now, this is a rematch. Rob Font wasn't so lucky against his first time around when he fought John Lineker back in UFC 198. Very exciting fight, but did fall short via unanimous decision on the judges' cards. But since then, they have each had about 7 or 8 fights, and they're two completely different fighters. They have grown. Now they're in their peaks. They're in their primes. Rob Font was still early on in his career back then, but now he is 16-4 with his last fight coming via unanimous decision victory against Sergio Pettis, which is a very big name. Before that, he lost to Rafael Sensao. Before that, obviously shutting down the Crazy Train and Thomas Almeida, knocking him literally the hell out. But what's going to happen when he's faced off against John Lineker? John Lineker was next up for the title, but he came short against kind of newcomer Corey Sandhagen. And that's because, in my opinion, the John Lineker, when he gets wild, when he gets crazy, his techniques start to loop, which is where I see Rob Font can really come away with this victory. I'm telling you, Rob Font, if you're listening somewhere out there, you have this. Be patient and throw straight techniques, linear, because we know Lineker, when he gets angry, so just make him angry, throws those wild loop-de-loops, and they're very good, they're very dangerous. But if you go up against a very calm, demeanored fighter, such as Rob Font can really present himself at times, then Rob Font can really throw those straight techniques and really outpoint Lineker, pissing him literally the hell off. But when you break down, both these fighters have a wide array of experience. I think, if I'm going to call it, I'll just do it right now. I think the keys for victory, obviously, for Rob Font is not get too much into your head. Forget the last fight, pretend it never existed, and just throw your straight techniques. Be calm, keep your distance. Don't try to get exchanged in those wild, emotional throwdowns that John Lineker is really going to present to you. Keep calm, keep your distance, keep at bay, pick your points, and I'm telling you right now, the judges will nod in your favor, because we know that Lineker is going to throw like a wild man. Having said that, Lineker's keys to victory is to close that distance. Don't let Rob Font be able to utilize that jab, his long reach. Shut that down immediately. Maybe even change levels and take it to the ground. Press him against the cage, because John Lineker is fantastic at jiu-jitsu. But a lot of these Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners with a friggin' crazy bad attitude and lots of anger don't like to use it. Their just strategy goes out the door, and what they're good at goes out the door, and they just want to try to knock you hell out and put the show on for the fans. So I do think Rob Font has this via unanimous decision if he stays calm. Now, the main event has two fighters that need no introduction. We have the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung going up against another top prospect, former number one contender bouter, because he didn't win, in Renato Moicano. Now, the one thing they have in common is they have both fallen short to Jose Aldo, but the one thing they don't have in common is Renato Moicano got destroyed by Jose Aldo, where Chan Sung Jung, the fight kind of stopped because of a freak accident that prevented him from continuing his fight with Jose Aldo. That's not to say that Chan Sung Jung is a far superior fighter than Renato Moicano, because I believe that to be incorrect, to be honest. First of all, Renato Moicano is the way more active fighter. Unfortunately, it's because Chan Sung Jung, the Korean zombie, has gotten caught up with too many injuries. He first came onto the scene, into the public eye, in his first outing against Leonard Garcia back in the WEC day, when they literally had probably like the fight of the lifetime. It was the most exciting fight in MMA history, in my opinion, and it's very undervalued today. I mean, I think they should show that fight over and over again. But then the latest, when Chan Sung Jung came back to fight Leonard Garcia on UFC territory, he is also known for that wild twister submission against Leonard Garcia, which was the first twister submission to ever be accomplished in the octagon. Now, Renato Moicano is no slouch on the ground either, and to be honest, he's a far superior striker. I think Korean Zombie could also be one of those people that gets a little bit wild and emotional just to try to put on those fights for the fans, and because he's known as the Korean Zombie that can't get knocked out until George Roop, you know what happened. He got knocked out real bad. But Renato has only lost to Brian Ortega, who is an absolute guru on the ground, and of course the former featherweight kingpin in Jose Aldo. I think this is going to be a very exciting fight, but I do think we have another one of those fights where one's a wild man in Korean Zombie and one is more of a striking tactician in Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano is going to have to utilize his kickboxing here because Korean Zombie, when he throws wild, he is susceptible to a head kick, as we've seen in the past, George Roop once again, and he just loves to drop his hands and kind of get sloppy, and I think that Renato Moicano can really take advantage of this and get back into the spotlight. Korean Zombie, on the other hand, he is going to have to smother Renato Moicano, not let him get his kickboxing off, take away those abilities, and maybe turn this into a grappling fight, because your striking is nowhere near on par that of Renato Moicano. So if I'm going to call this fight, I definitely think Renato Moicano has this. I think he's learned from his last fight against Jose Aldo, which was in a very exciting fight, mind you, and I think he's... Well, that's annoying. Well, let's continue. I think that Renato Moicano is going to have to keep Chan Sung Jung guessing the whole time. Don't make this a linear 1-2 striking combo type of fight. Really mix it up with your kicks, your leg kicks, your high kicks, your clinch game, your knees. Really keep Chan Sung Jung off guard. And I really think he is going to get this, but it's going to be by unanimous decision. But stay tight, fans, because I promise you right now, this fight is going to be exciting. Thanks so much for tuning in to me. I hope you guys enjoy the fight this weekend. I'm sorry about this loud, obnoxious noise, but the show must go on. Love you guys. Hit the like or dislike button. Doesn't matter to me. Subscribe, leave a comment, both negative or not. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree. I love you guys so much. We're going to see you for the next video. Man, this is annoying. Peace.